How we doing, guys? Today's a very special day. It is the first episode of the Life of a College Athlete podcast. On the show, we'll be discussing balancing academics and athletics and how these athletes got into such successful positions they are today. So, our first guest today is Owen Delisle, who is a freshman at Sacred Heart University and an alumni of Portland High School. So, Owen, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. I'm very excited.
All right, let's jump right into the questions. So, how did you get into running? And was there like a certain like time where you were like, all right, I'm going to put my all into this and this is going to be the thing that's going to take me to the top?
Yeah, so it all started in seventh grade for me. I did track that year, and it was kind of a thing like everybody was doing track, all my friends. So I was like, I'll hop in. Everybody was on the track team. And it was fun. I did like the 200, and I was like probably 5'8", like 95 pounds, and doing the 200. But I made it to state. That was cool. And then my eighth grade year, I decided to do cross country too to get in shape for basketball because basketball was like my main thing at the time. And then I ended up being like top three on the team, which I thought was cool. Like I medaled at a couple of meets, which I also thought was cool. Got
Hmm.
any announcements, you know what I'm saying? I thought I was the man. Um,
Absolutely.
and then obviously eighth grade track came around, and the team was really good, and that's kind of where everything changed because the main thing I say, and this is what I wrote my college essay about actually, was our 4x8 team at States. And Coach Ruth, who is my middle school coach, great woman. She's our indoor track coach too. Shout out Coach Ruth. She put me into 4x8, and she's like, Owen, like you're my wild card. Like no one had run the 8 because it wasn't like an indoor event, or the 4x8 because it wasn't an
Hmm.
outdoor track event in middle school. And she was like, I'm putting you in because my buddy Jack, he's doing hurdles. We need you in the 4x8. I'm like, all right. And we ended up winning the meet because our anchor leg, Jake, dove to the finish. It was crazy. It was like an experience I've never been a part of before.
That's all.
And I just kind of, yeah, fell in love with it from there. And yeah, the rest is history. So,
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got that like little story where they're like, this is what I
yeah,
want to do. So,
yeah,
I
their
mean, I think
moment.
every runner's got that story, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you found success like really, really like not I wouldn't say late, but you found success like your last 2 years of high school and everything kind of took
Yeah.
off from there. So, what was your recruiting process like?
Uh, well, it's funny because your dad, shout out Coach K, was a huge part of that, I gotta say. Um, and you are also a huge part of that because it all started after my junior year race at
Hmm.
conference, which I know you remember. So
Absolutely.
I had a great race, and it really like it was like in the back of my head. I just kind of wanted to get through the season before I started thinking about colleges, and I was like, maybe the opportunity is there for to run collegiately because think about it, I didn't run my sophomore year for track,
Hmm.
so like just running was kind of like in the back of my mind.
Right.
But after that successful race, I was like, huh, maybe we got something here. And I was like, I'll test the waters. I'll see what's up. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
who knows who will be interested and who will say what. So I went to Coach K, um, Mike's dad, and I said, he's my gym teacher for those at home. And I was like, I think I want to run in college. And he showed me the ropes of getting out to coaches, recruiting questionnaires, all that kind of stuff, how to kind of market yourself and make yourself seem like there's someone that they want. And yeah, I reached out to a lot of schools, didn't hear back from a lot of them, but it's fine because it
Happens.
just why not test the waters. um,
Absolutely.
yeah, talk to a lot of schools, and it's funny because Sacred Heart was actually the last school I reached out to, and I was very, very confident that I thought I was going to go to Southern Connecticut State University.
Hmm.
I loved it there. Great group of guys and great team. They had a great year this year.
Definitely.
Um, but I was just like in class looking over like some the schedule, like central schedule, and looking over the NEC conference race. And I kind of saw that school, and I was kind of like, huh, like I think that's in Connecticut. Like it rang a bell, and I
Hmm.
looked, I saw it was in Connecticut, and then all of a sudden it just like started checking every box of what I wanted in a school. And I went and I checked it out, and the campus was beautiful, and the group was a great group of guys. So everything kind of just fell into place, you know. But
I got you.
I'm very grateful for your father for everything that he helped me with the recruiting process because it would not have been possible without him.
Yeah, he's great with that stuff. I mean, he's always telling me to reach out to coaches, but I mean, obviously we now know the decision, but yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
yeah,
huge into the recruiting thing. So yeah,
yeah,
he's great with
yep,
that.
yep.
But I mean, kind of piggybacking on what you just said about Sacred Heart, what was your
Mhm.
final decision and why did you choose Sacred Heart?
So the final decision was the academics. I, I'm going to be a finance major now, and just being in the Fairfield area in Connecticut, obviously it's a very wealthy area of Connecticut,
Hmm.
and it's right by New
Absolutely.
York. So it just made sense for me to go to a business school in the Fairfield area so I can
Hmm.
network from there. And then, the internship opportunities, stuff like that. That's what kind of pushed it over the edge.
Hmm.
And like I said, it just kept checking the boxes. And
Right.
I was talking to my parents, and I was like, I need to approach this as a student athlete and not an athlete student because I
Absolutely.
know I'm not going to be a professional runner. I just enjoy competing. And
Hmm.
so, you know, then all of a sudden, the program, the strength of it didn't really matter too much to me as long as I could just run there.
Hmm.
And then, so academically, it's just what made most sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I wanted to go back to that question because you said it checked all the boxes, and that's exactly what happened with me too. Like it checked all
Yeah,
my boxes, but at the end of the day, it is down to the academics. And I knew
yeah,
that Central has a great PE program and stuff like that.
yep.
And it's just like, did you get to go to some of the classes while you were there?
Um, no, I didn't get to go to classes, but I did get to like have dinner with them. Because again, this was during my uh, actually this was during my senior year, but the COVID policies were still like in
Yeah, I
place,
got
and
you.
so like the visits there, even now, like we only had one recruit stay overnight,
Hmm.
so we still only do it like half a day.
I got
Sometimes they
you.
go to the classes, but back then I didn't really know what my major was going to be. I knew it
Hmm.
was something in the business school, so I think
Yeah.
that kind of played into coach just keeping me away from doing a class.
Yeah, I got you. And yeah, I mean, the classes, honestly, I think it was like it's a great thing. Like you get to see
Oh
what
yeah,
daily life is
yeah,
like at a college campus. So I mean,
yeah,
it's a
it's
great thing.
huge.
I mean,
Hmm.
but yeah. So how long did it take you to really adjust to the college lifestyle, whether it be academics and athletics, and just how did you balance it?
So yeah, for me, it was pretty quick, and it was faster than I was expecting, to be honest.
Hmm.
And I think that the being there early for preseason definitely had to play into that. I
Hmm.
was at school a week early. I don't know what you guys do, but I'm there a week early, and the campus is relatively small, which again I liked, and
Hmm.
so that was huge. What that I had a week like without classes to kind of figure out the ins and outs of campus, where everything's at, and the team was great in that time too, in helping me adjust. And one thing that took a while was just having a roommate. My
Hmm.
roommate's fine, I love him, but like just like there's someone else in your room with you at all
Right.
times. It's
Yeah.
just it's just
Hmm.
different, you know.
Yeah.
So I'd
Absolutely.
say that's what took the longest.
Hmm.
But everything else, like preseason was just huge, and obviously, finding your classes and stuff, it took me a little bit.
Hmm.
But I had a calendar set up. I just made sure always put lift classes, everything is on my calendar every day, 7 days a week, to make sure that I stay because you got to stay organized.
Right.
It's the name of
Right.
the game.
So would you say time management's pretty important?
Oh, it's the most important thing I think,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
college, people obviously nursing majors, they got it rough, man. Like we got a lot of nursing majors at Sacred Heart. That's a
Yeah.
tough major.
Mhm.
But like for other people, like it's not that hard if you manage your time correctly. Like it really
Mhm.
isn't if it
Yeah.
comes down to it. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of biased because I've only had like core classes at the moment, and I haven't had
Mhm.
like my micro and macroeconomics classes that might be a little bit harder. Um, but like, if you just make sure you schedule your free time appropriately, and okay, I'm gonna work on this paper this day and this paper this day. Like you got to break that habit in high school of just like doing everything at the last minute, and
Mhm.
then you're gonna be just fine.
Yeah, I got you. So, kind of going back to like the training aspect now, how has
Mhm.
college athletics kind of been different from high school? I know yours is definitely a lot different than it was in high school. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for starters, the competition.
right.
I mean, we're both small school guys, right? And what I told your father after I raced in Boston is Harvard is a lot different of a school than Old Lyme. That's not a dig at Old Lyme.
Yeah,
It's just the first school that came to my mind.
absolutely.
Um, so at Division One, it's tough. There's good runners, even in the NEC, which is one of the smallest conferences. Um, so that was an adjustment because the race is just different. It's a different distance along with
Mhm.
different competition. So you could be in the back third of a race, and for me, like going out fast is like a five flat, 5:10 mile, and
Mhm.
like I'll go out at like around there, and I'll still be like in the back third of a race, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, this is like crazy. Um, but in terms of like our team in particular, like in general, like the team, I think that it's different in that you're not as close with your coach, and I kind of
Mhm.
wasn't expecting that. And I think that's more because we're small schools than a high school thing.
Mhm.
But like, our teams, Mike, like they're very close with their coaches. You obviously are close with your coach. I'm close with
Yeah.
my high school coach, all of them. And it's not like that in high school. I mean, I'm not saying you like despise your coach or anything, but it's not
Mhm.
like you're going to get like dinner with them in your free
Right.
time or like, and there's
Right.
no pasta parties, stuff
Mhm.
like that. And I'm not saying like I was expecting that, but I kind of just like realized I was like, huh, like that doesn't happen anymore. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just interesting though, because that is a really big adjustment. Like you go from
Yeah.
being in a small town. I know you're in a small school, but still, like
Yeah.
you go from being hanging out every day after a meet and hanging out like right before at the pasta parties to just like
Yeah.
feel like is it a lot more serious and just like you just know everyone's good and everyone's there
Yeah.
for running. Some people
Yeah.
on high school teams, they're there for just to have fun, get into shape, but like when you're in
Yeah.
college, man, everyone is there for a reason. So I could
Yeah.
definitely see that being a pretty hard adjustment.
Yeah. Yep.
So, do you have any advice for people who are starting the college experience next year? College athletes, just college enlistees, just people who are going off into the next level as seniors this year.
Yeah, so the main thing I'd have to say is if you're going to be like a fall or winter athlete, I can't stress enough how important your junior season is
Mhm.
because, like, so for us as runners, those are the times you're submitting
Right, right.
from your outdoor season, and those PRs are what you're submitting to colleges, right?
Mhm.
So, you could have a great year this year, like our boy Sean did. Sean had a
Yeah,
great outdoor
absolutely.
season,
Uh-huh.
but he got recruited for his junior times, which were also good, don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
He kinda
but
exploded on the scenes, yeah.
exactly, he had a terrific senior year.
Mhm.
And so it's just I didn't realize that at the time, I don't think. I mean, I did, but like it was just our track season was kind of weird. It was like the post-COVID year, and it was my first like legit year of track because freshman
Yeah.
year I was still kind of in that doing it for fun
Yeah.
mindset. And
Uh-huh.
so my junior year was like, all right, I'm taking this seriously and I have to get good times for college. So it was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Um, but obviously not everyone's gonna be going to college for running. This is about college athletes in general.
Mhm.
So fall sports definitely that applies to.
Mhm.
But just do your best, and reach out to a lot of different schools because you don't know which
Yeah.
ones are gonna pique your fancy, to be honest.
Absolutely. I would say that's
Um,
a big one right there. Reach out to a
yeah,
lot of them.
yeah. Because, you know, like I'll take Sean Laverty, for example, my co-captain in high school. She was, had a great running career at Portland. And she was just like, I don't know if I can run in college. And I was just telling her, I'm like, dude, like, just reach out, like, just do it.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
worst they say is no.
Right,
And
right.
she did. And now she's running at Vermont. So, Like just take the step, market yourself, and then whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, going back to what you said before, it is really stressful. Like the junior year,
Oh
I
yeah,
definitely found that it was
yeah,
very, very stressful. Like I thought
yeah.
that someone was looking at me at all times, but you just got to realize that you're going to have your opportunities and just take them, like
Hmm.
and reach out to a bunch of schools. Like just it doesn't matter. I reached out to Duke. You think Duke's looking at
Yeah.
me? No, Duke's not looking at me. But I mean, like
Why not?
I right, why not? Like I reached out to
Yep.
Pitt. I was like, whatever, the pick came back and they were like looking at me for a little bit. So I mean,
Yeah,
just reach out to everything because I mean,
yeah,
you don't know what their standards are. You don't know anything until you reach out
yep,
at least. And I mean,
yep.
I think I have, we've all had our rejection emails. Like I had
Oh yeah,
UMass tell me that I wasn't good enough. So I mean,
yeah.
it happens. But I mean, if
Oh
you
yeah,
don't take that chance, then I mean, then you're missing out on a lot of opportunities that you might be able to have.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Let's see. So what's been your favorite part of college so far that's been different from high school?
Um, I don't know. It's I guess like the friend group I have,
Mhm.
because like these are all like committed runners. I guess you could say it's a little cliche, but like I found my people.
Yeah.
Um, More so, I mean, I still have great high school friends, but a lot of my high school friends aren't runners.
Mhm.
So it's kind of different that I kind of have that friendship with these people now that I can also relate to
Yeah.
and run with and everything and all that jazz. So yeah, I'd say that's been good. Definitely the freedom.
Yeah.
There's
That's
a
what I
lot
was
more
gonna say.
freedom in
Yeah.
college. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um, that's like even just like sleeping in. Like I sometimes my first class isn't till 11 and it's a day I don't have lift and I
Mhm.
get up at like 10:45 and I'm like not that late, but I'll get up by like 10 say and I'm like, "Huh, like I forget that people in high school, I'm like they're in like their fourth class right now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you guys
Mhm.
getting up to 7 every day is rough and sometimes I got to get up early for lift and whatnot, but like
Mhm.
that definitely the freedom is huge.
Mhm. So, is that like a kind of an adjustment for you at all? Like waking up early and having to do that?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, obviously, just getting up early sucks, but
Yeah.
it's nothing too grueling that what we do. It's like 45 minutes is like the time slot, and 15 of that is like our kind of warm up, and we'll do like a little bit of core stuff.
Mhm.
And then we go to the weight room only for like a half hour. And I mean, I'm doing like deadlifts and RDLs and all that stuff for the first time. But
Mhm.
all like the upperclassmen have been great with that. Our trainer is awesome, Coach Liv. She's actually going to Quinnipiac next year, so wishing her the best of luck. Um, but yeah, like I'm not. I've been to the gym before, so it's not like I'm
Mhm.
completely new.
Yeah.
But it's definitely an adjustment. But like I said, everyone's been great in that adjustment, and I think
Mhm.
I'm making the right steps. I'm adding on more weight, getting stronger. So
Mhm. Yeah, that's definitely one thing that, like, I always think about. It's always in the back of my head, like, how am I gonna adjust to the lifting? Because you know how Coach K is. He doesn't let us lift or do any
yeah,
of that stuff. He
yeah,
wants us to
yeah,
fresh for, college so that we can have that big jump there
yeah,
instead of having it
yeah.
during our high school careers. But, yeah, that was
Hmm.
definitely one of the things that I'm a little nervous about, but, I mean, what you just said definitely makes me feel better.
Yeah. No, I and to kind of ease that, like obviously I don't run at Central. I don't know what they do, but I
Mhm.
I can. You probably like when you think of lift, you think of like the football guys and
Yeah, that
wrestlers,
is
and
one of yeah.
they're like bench pressing. Like that's
Mhm.
not what it is. I mean, we do a little bit of legs and like core stuff, like a lot of kettlebell stuff.
Mhm.
Like the lifts we do, like I can see how it kind of it's like functional strength, and I can see
I
how it
gotcha.
applies to like
Mhm.
running. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And none of it is meant to be um, high weight that it's gonna like strain you to a
Mhm.
point where you're gonna pull or hurt something.
I
It's a lot
gotcha.
of high rep, low weight kind of stuff that's meant to build the lean muscle that runners need. So.
Mhm. So, kinda just like one of these funny questions. So, who's been your favorite person that you've gotten to race against? Whether it be someone that you raced against in high school or like a super popular person?
Oh man, that is a good question. I mean, I only had so many races.
True.
Um,
You've been hurt. Oh, we'll
I
talk about
mean,
that in a second, but
yeah. Um, I mean, like at the central race, I was around Nick Fusco and Calvin Young a lot.
yeah.
And it was nice to like be with familiar faces,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And then just finishing and catching up with those guys obviously is great. And I've always loved the social aspect of the sport in that sense.
absolutely. Yeah.
Um, but I mean, Jan Carlos is fast.
Shout out
I'm
to
like
Giancarlo
singling out,
Diaz.
yeah.
He
I'm
could
like
be a
shouting
future
out.
podcast member, so we'll see.
Oh wow, that'd be quite the episode. I was gonna say, I know I'm not gonna be the fastest guy, but I'm hoping that I'll be the funniest. But if you have him on, I think he's gonna take that title. So,
Yeah, we'll see. I
um,
mean, it'll be fun.
yeah, yeah. I guess I mean the only ones I really know are the ones on Central. Um, but yeah, like I always catch up, try and talk to those guys after the race. Jake, Ireland,
Yep.
everyone. But you know what? To answer your question the best, the race that you came to, I think it was the mini meet. I didn't race in it, but there were so many shoreline athletes there
I
on both the
know, that
guys
was
and girls
crazy,
side.
yes.
So that was pretty cool, I gotta say, to
Yeah,
see our conference and the small schools at the Division One collegiate level represented.
absolutely. I mean, seriously, like, the Shoreline Conference equals the NEC, basically. We have so many
Yeah,
people
no, it's
running in that conference, it's
yeah,
crazy. But,
yes,
I
we
mean,
do.
it just shows that, like, a small conference like that can make such a big boom in even the Division One level, so, I mean,
Yeah,
it's great.
yeah, yep,
So going back to what you said before about you being injured, obviously Owen has a little bit of a different experience than most people do. He came onto the season, he
yeah,
got hurt. So maybe take
yeah.
us through that. Like how have you adjusted to being hurt and learning how to kind of be on the sidelines for a little bit and not train?
Yeah, so I mean, so I have a stress fracture in my right foot, and it's been an upwards battle.
Mhm.
Just from a mental standpoint,
Yeah,
because physically I
absolutely.
feel fine, but I've never had this type of injury before. So like whatever the doctor tells me, I'm trying to be like, all right, I'm just gonna do it, whatever he says.
Mhm.
And the only way to heal it is by just sitting out and just resting for a long time. It's been like 2 months that I've gone without running with which
Mhm.
is, the most I've gone in years
Yeah,
without running.
definitely.
So,
Mhm.
it's I'm getting close. I'm hoping to get cleared December 21st. And then I mean, I'm going to Florida on the 23rd, so I'm going to be swimming a lot. But I'm going to talk to coach then and, we'll see what I don't know if I'm going to race in the winter season, but just walking, jogging, getting my mileage back up. I'm prepared for whatever may come. But as of right now, I'm doing a lot of like core stuff, a lot of
Mhm.
stuff to strengthen my right foot and those other muscles that the me being in the boot also kind of weakened.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, the last thing I want is to make this something that's recurring because that happens with stress
Mhm.
fractures, and
Yeah.
I just want this to be like a one and done kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to do everything in my power to make sure that that's the case.
I gotcha. So did you redshirt your cross season or did you keep your eligibility for that one?
No, I didn't redshirt cross season. I had too many races because
I
it was
gotcha.
like I got diagnosed with the stress fracture, and it was like a week. It was like I was still up in the air to race at NECs. Like coach was like, "If you feel good, like I want to put you in."
Mhm.
And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go to the doctor." And he was like, "Yeah, no, you definitely have a stress fracture, so you gotta." And I was like, "Oh wow, it was a big surprise." But no, yeah, it was pretty late in the season, which whatever. I'm not that upset about it because
Mhm.
freshman year is definitely um, just getting adjusted to the sport. Obviously, there's
Absolutely.
freshmen out
Mhm.
there like Sean
Shout
who
out
go
to
out
Sean
there and
again. I
yeah,
know. Oh man,
he's
he's
again
killing
great
it.
collegiate cross country career up at UMass Lowell. But yeah, I knew that this year for me would just be getting adjusted to the distance and the competition, and I got
Yep.
a better idea of what that's like, and so I'm content with racing as much as I did. Obviously, I would have liked to race more, but
Hmm.
it's not the end of the world. So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and freshman year, again, what you just said, it's all about adjusting. It's all about learning. That's what I tell all the freshmen that are on even the high school team. Like this year,
yeah,
just take it, race, learn how to
yep,
race, and just learn how to
yep,
compete with people. And I mean, that's
yep,
all you can basically do. I mean, that's what I did
yep,
my freshman year. I mean, I was sick a little bit my freshman year with the whole ulcer
yep,
thing, but I
yep,
mean, I learned so much. Like I'll never
yeah,
like you'll never forget your first college race. Like all these
yeah,
kids are freaking D1 runners. Like that's crazy.
yeah, yeah,
And like I remember my first high school race, I ran down the hill of Blue Dragon, turned to my right, and I saw a dude with a beard. Like I'm in
yeah,
ninth grade. Like what?
yeah,
So yeah, I
yeah,
mean it's all about learning, and I mean you still have a while. Like you still have indoor
yeah,
and
yep,
you have outdoor. So I mean you have time to get back. So
yeah. Oh yeah, I'll be back
yeah,
sooner rather than later.
and so if you were, so you're probably gonna redshirt this indoor season, right?
That's what it seems like. It's not definite. It's still early in the season. It just depends on how I progress, and the coaches are going to make the best decision for them, which is their job,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. So yeah, we'll see what kind of shape that I can get into,
Mm-hmm.
or hopefully that this I don't have pain that comes back or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. To be honest.
No, yeah, exactly. And so, do you think that if you were to redshirt, you'd come back for that fifth year to run indoor, or would you just go
I
on and?
I don't know. I mean, it's obviously a while down the line.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but if really was that passionate about doing it, I don't know if it would be at Sacred Heart, to be honest. I mean, obviously, it's a while down the line. Who knows what our
Hmm.
times could look like or anything
Yeah.
like that. But like, it's just obviously it's a very expensive school, so I don't know if I can afford grad school there.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know because who knows if coach can help with that if he if he wants me back that bad, if somewhere else pops up, like I don't know, there's many options, but that's way down the line, so
Yeah,
we'll just have to wait and see, but
definitely.
I'm open to anything.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. And so, going actually past your 4 years of college, so you're thinking of finance, right?
Yeah,
So,
yep.
do you have any like ideas of what you want to do after that? Like any like paths you're gonna take?
Yeah, I mean, I just, I've got some wealthy family members, and I was talking with them at Thanksgiving. And right now, I'm business economics, and she was like, one of my family members was like, I think you should go finance route, because I was thinking about switching, and that would be like the only other one I think I'd be interested in.
Hmm.
But again, with the finance route comes accounting too. That might be interesting. And obviously, it's like, oh, people are like, oh, you're doing numbers for a living. But I can do math. I feel confident in my math ability and
Hmm.
whatnot. So if I can make a living out of that, um, then I think that might be a option. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of good opportunities that Sacred Heart provides. That's why I went there.
Hmm.
So I'm excited for like the internships in my later years of college and stuff like that, where I can really like market myself in a work environment and
Hmm.
show these companies that I think I'm someone that they'll want, because finance is very competitive in the business world, but I feel like I have confidence in myself to
Hmm.
show companies that I'm worth it. And, I just got to get better. I feel like my people skills are there. I got to get better at obviously, finance, and that's what college is for. So
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think I'm on the right track.
I
So
got
yeah, I'm
you.
excited.
That's great. So, would you ever think about maybe coaching, whether it be high school or anything? Would you ever think about coaching for running at all?
100%. It's in the back of my mind. I'd love to, but obviously, um, like with you wanting to be a gym teacher, and teachers in general, it's easier to coach, just because like your work's finished and then it's like the same schedule as with running. You know what I mean? Like your work's finished,
Hmm.
you can go coach high school after it because your work ends when the students do. You know what I mean? Your
Right.
teacher.
Right.
Um, so with I'm not going to be a teacher, so I don't know how demanding, it's going to be with my work, and if I'm going to be able to juggle future holds. And
Hmm.
that's what's so exciting about it.
Yeah, absolutely.